Hi, this is Peter. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Cane Pole Fishing Instruction. We just got done with the Texas rig, and there's a reason I did that first is because it showed you how to hook up the worm on the worm hook. This next rig, a Carolina rig, you're going to use the same hook. In this instance, I'm going to use the same weight. Then I'm going to show you how, with just an introduction of cheap dollar, under $2 for sure, bag of beads that will last you quite a long time, and a pack of swivels to change this rig into what they call a Carolina rig. Now, this is not the exact Carolina rig that I use. I have refined mine just a little bit, but mine also is a little bit more tackle intensive, and if you break off, you're losing money. I'm trying to keep this simple and for the introductory angler. And it only means that you modify the Texas rig just a little bit, and you now have Carolina rig with exactly the same thing you were using, with the addition of 2 items. The other thing about the Carolina rig is it's not just specifically plastic worms. I use it live baiting, I use it saltwater, I use it catfishing. Not with the same hooks, of course, but you can do very many different things. You can even do this and take one of these little micro crankbaits that they sell and weight down a micro crankbait, get it down close to the bottom, and it floats up off the bottom, and you can slowly work it across the bottom. The other thing about Carolina rigs versus the Wacky rig and the Texas rig is a Carolina rig is designed to work water. You get out there and you work a lot of water. You're not going to cast this up into the weeds. You might cast it along a weed bed, but you don't want to get it into the weeds. It is a little bit more prone to snags, although using what they call slinky weights. Basically, you have a little piece of paracord exterior. You heat one end of it, you drop some split shot into it, you heat the other end of it, and that's what you use for your weight. That will actually walk over things that some other things will not. I don't do that. It's a little time consuming, a little bit more expensive. I do use other sinkers, and I'll show you the rig that I use later on, probably when we're doing some catfishing or doing some saltwater fishing. Alright, I'm going to move the camera and I'm going to show you this rig up. First I got to tie it up, of course, but then I'll show you how it goes. Okay folks, I got it all rigged up. This is the same worm I was using Texas rig. Exact same one. But I have it on probably 2.5 foot leader. That leader terminates in a swivel. From one end goes to the worm hook. The other end, of course, is going to the rod. Then I have a clear bead, and that is a pretty large bead, but craft beads. And then the weight. So basically, there's 2.5 feet between the worm and the weight. Usually when I tie this up, I tie my leader on, I leave the hook off. I put my weight and bead on, then tie it to the other end of the swivel, then I tie on the hook. But since I already had this tied up and rigged up, I went ahead and just tied it in, a little bit more in reverse. That's why I didn't show it. It takes a little bit longer. I'm using the same knot on everything. Now, the bead, if I was using a brass bead, it would be for noise, although this does make a little noise when that hits. But the bead is mainly just to protect that knot. This metal here can cut that knot if you're not careful. That's why you put the worm head up a little bit when you're doing that. It's not that bad. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it will make some noise. If I was using a brass bead, it would make more. Now let's go fish it. Alright, I've got my Carolina rig here. Let me get it out there. And what you do is you just let this sink. And once it gets to the bottom, all you have to do is just slowly reel it in. When you feel a hit, it's going to be just like with any other plastic worm. You let them take it for a second before you set the hook. Now, as I said, this is not the normal rig that I would rig for a Carolina rig. But my normal rig is, once again, a little bit more hardware intensive. And I'm trying to make this so it is suitable for a beginning angler. I'm also thinking about changing my worm color here. I know I've got a tree right here in front of me, so when I get to where I think it is, I'm going to reel up a little bit faster. Now that did get a little bit of that algae that's growing on the bottom on that hook, but you know, that kind of algae, you can't keep it off anything. That worm is weedless, and as long as that weight doesn't get snagged up on anything, you should be fine. Cast it over that way a little bit. Now I do have a tree down over there that I might have just gotten myself into. We'll see. But the thing with the Carolina rig is I can cover the entire length of the water between where I cast and here. Just lets me go ahead and slowly work it all the way across. Now I can, with this same Carolina rig, drift my boat and let it drag my lure behind, or let it drag my worm behind. Alright, that's been the Carolina rig. I'm not going to sit out here and fish when the fish ain't biting. Not that, you know, I haven't fished when the fish ain't biting. It's just they don't seem to be as active today. It's 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday, so that might have something to do with it. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it. If I catch one, I might put a picture up at the end of the video.